What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? Man, it's me, your big partner, Cartoon 53. Man, I'm back again. Story time, yeah. Story time, yeah. Man, we gonna get right to it because I got some things I gotta go handle. So, man, I'm gonna give it to you in a row. I know y'all tripping off the title of the video. I know y'all tripping off the title, but you know what I'm saying. Just stay tuned, and you know it all plays out in the end, in the rinse. Listen, man, y'all do me a favor, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that comment button. You know what I'm saying? Do it again. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that hit that subscribe, like, and comment. My bad. Anyway, moving right along. Man, this goes back to back into the Alabama prison system, man, during a time when I was doing pretty good. I told a story years ago. I'm a hint at it again because that story kind of leads over into this story. And like I know y'all looking at the title. I had a gay hitman in prison. Now you got to understand, a hitman. But let me give y'all the story though. Listen. So this guy, if y'all can find the other story, I cut into him and went to talking to him one day. He was a cool dude. He was a rider though. And the cold part about it, he was a blood. And of course, you know what I'm saying, but now he was out of Birmingham too. So anyway, one day we sitting down, we talking, cool. I'm skimming past this part. I start paying him to go get, basically on some hitman type stuff. Now, my motive was I could have easily had the homies do it, the Crips. But now I wasn't finna take no chance on getting one of the lokes locked up and losing him. You know what I'm saying? When I can utilize dudes from different groups. And so that's what I was doing. So when I cut into him one day talking to him, boom. I start, you know what I'm saying, having him take care of little small problems for me. At the time, I was doing pretty good. If I'm not mistaken, I might have had my Slick Pick ticket. For those who don't know, a Slick Pick ticket is a football ticket. I might have had it out. Might have been, doing my thing with the drugs or whatever. And but I was having a little money at the time. And so I was paying him to go jump on dudes. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was stabbing them, jumping on them, or whatever it took. I was going through him until, and the administration knew about it. What I ain't gonna say they knew about it. They kind of figured it out, but they could never pin nothing on me solid. They could never really pin nothing on me solid. So anyway, I had to bounce for a minute, y'all. But anyway, a dude got messed up kind of bad one day, and he ran to the administration and he told on us, and he told the police that I'm gonna call the blood dude Green Eyes. I ain't gonna use his real name. I'm gonna just call him Green Eyes. If you can find my old video, I probably use his real name because I was back then. I wasn't as YouTube etiquette as I am now. But anyway, the dude told the administration that Green Eyes came to his cell, jumped on him, threatened to stab him, was going to do all this to him. You know what I'm saying? So he eventually ended up getting locked up. The police got him and brought him to the shift office, and they told him, they say, listen, we know that you working for Cartoon. We know you working for him. And all you got to do is tell us that he's the one, and we'll lock him up, and you ain't never got to worry about seeing him again. You ain't never got to worry about being around him again, which that was going to be a lie if they would have even went that route. But anyway, it didn't go that route because, believe it or not, old boy held his mud, man. He held his mud, man. They could have easily locked me up based off anything he said if he would have said something that was going to be incriminating to me. He held his mud. He didn't trip. That earned a lot with me. I told you I'm real big on loyalty and unity. that meant a whole lot to me. He went to jail. When I say jail, I mean he went to the hole. He went to lockup. He went to lockup and rolled lockup and held his mud, didn't say nothing for something that I paid him to go do. So I was like, you know what? Now I looked out for him the whole time he was back there too, though. So when he, eventually time goes on. The Bloods, they was kind of tripping on him. They was kind of like, man, you doing all this and that for cartoon, man. That dude with a Crip, man. What you got going on? So we was going through all this and that, ups and downs. I'm like, man, don't even trip. But like I say, he had earned my respect by holding his mud, not saying nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? Doing his time and coming on back. All right. So time goes on. We moving down the line. Years later, he turned gay. This is hence the title of the video. He got caught up in a certain situation with one of them boys, and I told you, them, man, when you dealing with them boys in that prison system, you walking a fine line, you walking a razor's edge of you dealing with them or you becoming one of them. And I guess that he wasn't strong enough in the end, and he eventually fell susceptible to whatever was going on behind closed doors, and there it went. So he was no longer under the jurisdiction of the Bloods. And I peeped it and seen it and like, all right, well, cool. I ain't tripping on it. So now we eventually had got transferred to a whole nother prison. Now, by this time, he is well into his gayism thing. His name has been changed to one of them old Funny Bunny prison girl names, and it is what it is, was what it was, and it was gonna be what it was gonna be, or see, So I'm having problems again, different dudes, and I had adopted the attitude is ain't no need for me to get my fingers dirty, get my fingers wet when I got all this prison money, and these dudes around here will jump head first off a cliff if you tell them to for a couple of coffees and some cigarettes. Hey, man, it is what it is, So anyway, I cut into him again. I'm like, hey, man, check this out. You want to make some money? He like, Tune, man, I'm down. I say, well, look, you ain't under the jurisdiction of the Bloods no more. You know what I'm saying? You done crossed over to the dark side, You crossed over to the dark side, and boom, you can do your own thing. He like, man, Tune, you know what I'm about, man. I handle my business. I get down. I'm like, yeah. He like, what's up? Man, I got a dude who owe me some money, homie. And I want it handled. He like, well, what you want done? Man, I want him socked out. In the gym, though, where everybody can see it. He like, cool. I say, so what's the ticket on it? What you gonna charge me? He told me what he was gonna charge me, and it was like, okay, well, cool. I'm like, you gonna handle it? He's like, when I handle it, pay me. Sometimes it was half up front, then the other half once the job was done. But I would always stringently try to stick to, when you do it, I got you. Off the rip, pay you the whole hookup. So he like, all right, cool. He handled his business. And I paid him. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about whoop boy to the flow. Now, like I say, just because he was gay, it don't mean he wasn't a monster from the shoulders. He just was, got caught up and started liking them sausages. So anyway, after that, I started utilizing him. Man, and I streamlined it this time. Instead of people knowing, seeing me and him talk or knowing that he was working for me, I say, look, we gonna keep this on the hush. I don't want nobody to know you working for me. He like, okay, so what's up? I say, look, when I need something for you to handle, I'm gonna get word to you. But as far as people seeing me and you talk, I said we ain't gonna do that, because you go jump on somebody or stab somebody or something. I don't want them to say, man, he did that for cartoon. Because then whatever type of repercussions or consequences are coming back, they going to come back in my lap. I'm going to have to deal with it regardless anyway. Look at my little dog. What's up, little dog? You got your toes cut? Yeah, my wife had to take Mr. Bouncy to the vet and get his little toenails clipped off. He's scratching like a big dog. So anyway, come here, Mr. Bouncy. Come here, boy. Come here, baby. Oh, come here. Come here, boy. Come here. Oh. Y'all want to see Mr. Bouncy? Look at the camera. Look at the camera, Bounce. Look. Look at that. Look. Look at my hand. Look at my hand. Look at my hand. Y'all see him? Y'all see Mr. Bouncy? Look at his little tail. He ain't nothing but a puffball with a tail. Look at it. The tail and the rest, puffball. It's my baby though. Oh. So anyway, a big lick came up. And I needed for him to handle it. I had dealing with a dude and got a pack sent in. Now the pack that got sent in, it had to come over the fence during the visiting. So, everything that was supposed to take place took place. But the dude who was supposed to pick the pack up, he say he didn't pick it up and he don't know where it's at. He say by the time he got to the pack or where the pack was supposed to be, it was not there. It was not there. It was not under the it was supposed to be retrieved by one of the visiting yard worker runners, and it was supposed to be placed in a trash can in a certain strategic place. It wasn't there. Now, dude swore up and down. He like, "Toon, man, I ain't finna play with you, homie, man. I promise you. I went to look. If it was there, I would have brought it to you, but it ain't there, homie. It wasn't there." So I'm like, all right, cool. I say we need to find out any and everybody who had access to that pack, cause I'm not taking this type loss. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to already replace stuff to other people. And no, I'm not finna do that for free. Somebody gonna pay for this. So we start doing homework, start trying to check it out. Now the worker that I was getting at, he wanted to try to be loyal to the other worker and not bring his name into it. But now when the rubber hit the road, I basically let him know, hey homie, you gonna pay for that. By one way or another, by money or by blood, but you gonna pay for that. He was like, hold up to him. See, now it ain't got real. He was like, hold on, man. He said, man, I believe I know who had access. One more person who had access. So now it took him a whole day to come up with this. But anyway, he finally come clean. He's like, man, the other, we got another visiting yard worker. I'm like, really? Who? So he told me who the other visiting yard worker was. I'm like, okay. I say, look, I'm going to let you get at him. He was like, no, Toon. I don't, because I don't want him to be able to, he didn't want nothing to do with that. I say, well, cuz, don't trip. I got it. You know what I'm saying? That's my stuff. I need to handle that anyway. So I eventually went to the dude. And I told him, I say, look here, homie. This past weekend, it was something that come up missing off that visiting yard. And word is that your hands end up touching it. He was like, no, man, what you talking about? So I say, look, okay, I ain't finna play no games with you. I ain't finna beat around the bush with you. A pack was brought in and it was placed in the trash can, and the other visiting yard worker was supposed to get it, but he didn't get it. The only other person who had access at getting it was you. If you got my dope, let me get that back, man. If you done spent some of it, done messed some of it off, don't even worry about that. Bring me what you got left. Now, don't try to bring me no little bit, because I'm telling you, don't worry about if anything got messed off. No, the majority of it need to be coming back to me, homie. So the dude was like, man, Toon, I swear on this, I swear on that. I ain't touched nothing. I ain't did nothing. I ain't touched nothing. I'm like, all right, well, cool. I say, homie, I'm giving you one more chance. I say, because after this, if I walk away, when I walk away, the next interaction that me and you gonna have, it's not gonna be good. Because I know you got my stuff, homie. And you need to come clean. Don't let greed get your life took in these white folks' prison, man. Don't let greed get your whole life took in these white folks' prison. Let me get my stuff, homie, because you put me in a bad position. He swore up and down he didn't have nothing. I'm like, all right, cool. I say, I'm finna walk on. He like, man, I ain't did. I turned around, I left. So now when I left, I'm contemplating to myself, was it him or was it not him? I couldn't really prove nothing. I couldn't really prove nothing. So I go to the other visiting yard worker that I've been dealing with, and I tell him, I say, man, oh boy, this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the third. I can't prove nothing. I say, homie, bottom line, I'm gonna have to take it out your ASS and his too. Meaning that you was gonna get stabbed or beat up. So he was like, hold up, Toon. Wait a minute, man. I'm not finna get caught up in this. I'm not finna do none of this. He said, man, that dude got that. I'm like, how you know? He like, I know he got that. Like I say, by this time, a couple of days done went by. He say, listen, man, that dude sold some dope to another dude, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, who's the dude he sold it to? He tell me who the dude was. So how you know? He say, man, you know, when dope hit the yard, everybody and their mama trying to buy it, so we know where it's coming from. We know who done bought some, who got it and all that. I'm like, all right. So I end up going to the dude who he told me about, bought some dope. When I get to him, I tell him, I'm like, what's up, homie? You got something for sale? He like, no, I ain't got nothing to say. You know, I just got myself some, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, who you get it from? He like, man, you know, dude don't want his name out. I say, dude don't want his name out. I say, he must don't, how he gonna make money then? He must don't want no money if he don't want nobody on the compound to know that he got some. He got some. He was like, man. I say, look, man. I already know who you got it from. He like, man, who I got it from? So I tell him the other visiting yard worker. So he kind of like shrugged his shoulders, like, if you know, you know. I'm like, bet. I turn around, I walk off. That's all I need to hear. I sent word for Green Eyes. Hey, man, somebody go get Green Eyes. Tell him to come here. So after dinner, Green Eyes popped up in my block. We go to the sale. I'm like, come here, come on. We get to the sale. I'm like, hey, look, want some money? Got some money, big money for you. You be like, shoot, Toon, what's up? I say, I want this boy sent to the upper room. He said, what? I want him sent to the upper room. He like, man, what's the upper room? I'm like, man, these youngsters, man. I say, I want him took out. You sure? I'm like, yeah. He like, all right. He like, if that's what you want. He say, man, look, if I get caught for this, man, you're gonna have to look out royally. I'm like, all right. So he told me what he wanted. I'm like, dang. Sheesh. I say, we need to negotiate on that one. He like, well, man, you want me to go ahead and show enough blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So I said, all right. I say, let's do it like this. If you complete the job all the way 100 to the end and he's out of here, I'll pay what you just said. I say, but now if you just tear him up and he live, I say you get this versus this. He was like, all right, Toon, bet. You know what I'm saying? Because there's all type of variables. If old boy do his job sloppy, if he don't do it the right way, old boy might take off running or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and get away. And so therefore, the whole thing ain't done. So I can't pay you the whole price. He like, all right, cool. I say, so what's up? He say, man, give me about 3-4 days. I'm like, all right, bet. So now most people, you know, they need that time to, you know, scope the scene and find out the dude's movements. Because at one time I was in that line of work. I told y'all the time about I took the hit up for a dude named Heart Attack that was in lockup, that was trying to get out of lockup, and y'all see how that went. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, about 2 days went by. Old boy catch him on the yard. He catch him on the yard, and he did the ooh-wee with him, y'all. He did the ooh-wee with him. When you leaving the gym, you got to walk. You come up between 2 blocks. You come between them blocks. It's a gate right here. When the gates open, that's back and forth on the G yard. The traffic is back and forth to the gym, the law library, the regular library, the captain's office, the chapel, all that's over there. So boom, when you coming back through that gate, it's a blind spot to where the shift office can't see or the police on the yard can't see if they not at the other G gate. When you go through this gate, you can walk straight across the main yard, and it's another gate right here called the G gate that you can go out. And that's when you're going to visiting, going to eat, going to the snack line, any of that, going to the infirmary, you go through that other gate. So the blind spots, the whole prison to me is a blind spot. You know what I'm saying? When my first day in the Alabama prison, when I came out I put my stuff in the cell and I came out and I looked around, and the first thing I said is, man, this is a death trap. And at the time, and I was in that prison right there at the time. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, they coming back from the yard. Old boy decided that was it. He took off. He handled it. Did he send him to the upper room? No. Did he try to? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He did him raw in a real bad way, and went to lockup. He didn't go to lockup then. Old boy ended up taking off running. He made it to the infirmary. He made it to the nurse's station, and they patched him up. They had to take him to the Free World Hospital. All this and that. So when he ended up coming back, he ended up telling. So they end up coming to get Green Eyes, end up locking him up, but I'd already paid him. He was done well. What the pay was, neither here nor there, but he was paid. What made me think of this story was all that stuff that's going on in LA and in the social media world about Ricos and all this old stuff. I say, man, if the story that I'm telling now would have happened on the street, I'm like, man, that's some Rico type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang. And realizing what the Fed. So I know it's gonna be people in the comments too. You shouldn't have said, man. Look, miss me, man. I'm a vet. I'm a vet at this now. I know what to say, what not to say, and all this. So I don't need you jumping in the comments talking about, too, you shouldn't have gone that man. Go ahead on, man. No, it's not gonna happen. The story I just told y'all means nothing, would never amount to anything, because nobody's, as of right now, nobody's a real person. You know what I'm saying? That's why you use different names. People out there in social media world, grits, dummy, grits. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that was the thing. Hence the title. I had a gay hitman in prison because even though he had went gay, he was a bad man still. He was handling his business, boy. He was knocking tops off. Well, anyway, man, let me get up out of here, man. Tell the people you love them. And in the meantime, between time, man, don't never forget, homie, Cartoon One, man, from Eastside Avalon. And I represent the gangsters, homie. I'm out. Peace.
When I pop, then you pop. Don't nobody drop, you better bring it to the block. Fuck the cops, you better squeeze until it's empty. I put that on 50, she's with it. Are you hit me? Hey gang, swing gang, what it looks at. 5 tray, hey, yeah, third that. 4 8, 8 8, 11 6. So when you slide down the 8, you're getting clapped at. Heads up until my days up.